Well, good evening and welcome to the stream. Let's see what we can get into today. What we're going to do is NDIS Research Project. And this is from August 29th of 2001. Coast to Coast AM with Art Ball. So whatever part of the world you live in, whatever you might be doing, welcome to the stream. If you want to see what everybody's talking about, join us. Great to be here again, interesting topic. I guess we could begin with this that's what we're calling, I guess. It doesn't sleep with traditional crop surfaces and employment and growth. What did you crop? So, what's your take? What do you think? When did you hear about it? Well, we heard about it about a week ago or less than a week ago, and since then it's provoked probably the most intense discussion on our email list that I've seen in a long time. In other words, our science advisory board with background in physics, and a lot of consultants have chimed in on this topic. And the main point of argument is how could it be done? And arguments have focused on whether it could be done successfully from the air by a government aircraft. That would indicate to me that the discussion participants, for the most part, must discount the possibility that it was done by some students or something. Yeah, I think there's been really a discussion about whether or not several people were using planks at night, that kind of thing, because the level of sophistication, and especially on the face, which first appeared, followed by the Chilbolton PF, both of those are not indicative of being done on the ground. Now, that to us, that's in contrast to a lot of data formations that appeared this summer. I think the formations in England for the last couple of years have been really spectacular few years ago, but these latest ones are the exception. Turning right here. Yeah, exactly. And I think the new one that they formed the nine-separate circles, which I know you discussed previously in your program, yes. So also the departure because of the technical perfection. I want to hear something interesting that somebody wrote to me about that. And this is just speculation about the 409 circles. Sure. It says, if I'm right about the 409 circles being a geometric representation of 409 elements that structure the universe, I predict that we investigate and find a trace amount of each of those elements in each circle. Now, that I haven't heard before. Right. People are worried about 409 elements made up of the universe. But the head of SEPRA, which is a French organization, dedicated to the study of UFOs and other things, but it was funded originally by the French government, and it is still in existence on a much lower level than it used to be. The head of SEPRA is Jean-Jacques Velasco. Several years ago, he wrote a very interesting paper on the electromagnetic requirements of creating crop circles or crop formations or drift from an aircraft. And in other words, to put in some of the physics and some of the electromagnetic requirements. There's been a lot of discussion on our list from people who are very sympathetic to the idea that this may be some form of weapon or some form of instrumentation that's been tested and calibrated and perfected over several years. And the question of why it would be used for so long, obviously, is an interesting one. I suppose anything is possible. That's certainly possible. I've speculated myself about satellites. Satellites could certainly do this. But I refuse to believe it was done on that. I absolutely refuse to believe it was done on that. Just put it down. We don't think it was done on the ground either. And the actual content of the message that Richard Hogan was talking about, I found some of his comments pretty interesting. Particularly on the silicon. In fact, the silicon is an integral member of part of bone formation, which it is, but it's really near as important as the other elements. If you look at the total biochemistry of the human body, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen, and phosphorus are really the main players in the formation That's right, right through the animal and plant kingdoms. He is correct on the silicon angle. He also brought an interesting thing on the triple helical DNA, which has been used routinely in the last several years for interrupting gene transcription. In other words, you can actually create triple helical DNA in the lab, and it is used for forms of genetic manipulation. Yeah, so that is correct. But I'm actually looking at the case or the comparison that Paul Vigay had created on your website. Yes. And it's I can't actually see the triple helical DNA, but I do know that triple helix DNA is routinely used. The other aspect about the short-lived nuclides that he had mentioned, I was not aware that they had been found in drug formations. As you probably know, Robert Bigelow was instrumental in creating Project Argus, which was I think it was one of the first major instrumented studies of crop formations in southern England. It was in the early 90s. But one of the instruments that they had with them was specifically to look at the short-lived nuclides, which
which have been reported. And the results of Project Argus were negative. In other words, there were no nuclides found in that study in the formations that they looked at in the early 90s. Now, obviously, that's not to say that they found that all formations didn't happen, but they specifically looked for them and didn't find them.
This is unambiguously intended to be an answer to the antecedent signal. You would agree with that, sir? Definitely. Right, so if some government did this from a plane with some new experimental technology, why would they do this? I mean, why would they do this? Why would they provide an answer to what was sent from the Arecibo? Why would a government do that? I can see they might make circles, they might do other things, but why would they do this? That doesn't make sense.
Well, I think we could certainly look at it from the humor because, particularly the humanoid figure stuck in there with a large head, which is very classical Hollywood. You could also find out that silicon has been, for decades, has been discussed in science fiction literature as the alternative to carbon-based life.
When I was in the Air Force, there was a lot of humor there.
Well, you may be right. I was focusing mostly on the face as a possible, having been done from the air. Because the face is one of those computerized versions of an image that will have to be done with a computer. Manually doing it and hoping that you got all of the nose correctly or the eye correctly would just not work. Not impossible. Yeah, the structure of that particular formation is about 220 separate honeycombs, and in each honeycomb, the crop is laid down in varying amounts. And even if you made six mistakes and say six to seven honeycombs around the nose area, you would totally destroy the entire image. So out of 220 honeycombs, there are no mistakes that can be seen that are obvious. So that seems to suggest a machine.
I agree with you. It would have to suggest a machine of some sort. This kind of accuracy, it just could not be achieved in the dark. We know they were done overnight. By I don't care who's on the ground. Yeah. That's what we assume. And so this is a really big story. And I guess obviously the people you associate with are at least treating it that way as well, because even if it means our government did it from the air, that's a pretty big story.
It is a big story. Now, the other part of the discussion that has been raging within NIDS is the naysayers who are, they're technically adept physicists as well and engineering backgrounds, and they're saying that it couldn't be done. So, there's a group saying, yes, it can be done, and then there's another equally expert group saying, no, it can't be done. So it's certainly not anyway resolved. It's just been a really, really intense and intensive discussion.
Well, I suppose it could be somebody's sense of humor, but to design this to what we did, would have required pretty serious study and thought. I mean, you really have to kind of think it out to come up with this. Before you ever got to the let's try it out in the field, or the dropping, or with irradiated from the brain.
Yes, I saw an alternative explanation for the DNA, and that is that usually DNA has about 9 nucleotides per spiral in the double helix, and one of the interpretations I saw was 6 nucleotides per spiral, which means the actual bonding in the DNA in the return gift, if you want to call it like that, is very, very different from the normal 9 turns per spiral in normal DNA as we know it. But that actually implies a totally different structure of the backbone of the DNA in the returning gift. So it's not actually a triple helical DNA, it's just an different bonding structure.
Is Ned getting calls asking what Ned thinks about this?
Yes, we've had a few, mostly emails, but yeah, we've had quite a few actually.
And how generally respond to those?
We generally respond by saying that we have not actually looked at the formation, but some of our consultants think that it's been done from the air. You know, that can be anywhere from a couple thousand feet to 100,000 feet. Well, as you mentioned, satellite. I'm not aware of the kinds of technology that would be used from satellites, but an aircraft with the appropriate camouflage, daytime or nighttime, and we know, I think pretty well, we know that sort of aircraft is routinely deployed, but it's very difficult to see either daytime or nighttime. So it would not have to be at a very high altitude in order to accomplish this. If you were using something like a microwave laser to carry it out, the altitude may not be too high.
And so, how do laser do that?
Well, that's been the fundamental argument on our list. You know, there's people who worked in laser research who said no way, and then there's other people who said yes. So it's right now the jury is out. But I think the general agreement so far that I've seen is that definitely these latest ones have definitely been done from the air.
From the air.
Yes,
by us or by somebody.
Yes, but the idea of a bunch of students kind of randomly putting this Arecibo message together and doing it on the ground seems to me to be pretty ludicrous. As you mentioned, it required a lot of thought and a lot of planning, and also a fairly good level of biochemistry, probably graduate level biochemistry.
No human footprints or signs of human activity were found around either one of these. There will be 409 circles from that's agencies and nations that really begin for people moving around.
Well, that's one of the really interesting issues because, according to information that we heard, that it was raining on the night that the 409 circles appeared. Now, I went over to Southern England to investigate the crop formation situation a few years ago. And after a rainy night, if you're tramping around in those fields, you very, very quickly get about 6 inches of very thick, dense mud in the bottom of your boots. I mean, it's impossible to avoid that. And so it slows you down, number one, but secondly, it makes you leave tracks. It would be very, very difficult to avoid leaving tracks like that on the ground, especially during rain.
So the Lord's position on all of this right now is very interesting.
The next position is fascination. We have not had any people on the ground over in Southern England for the last couple of years, but before that we usually have one person on the ground during every summer.
Well, actually, we're over there, and yes, you worked in these, right? Not
Yeah.
One point. What was it like? I mean, what was your impression?
Well, the first formation I went into was the famous Stonehenge formation right across the 8303 road motorway from Stonehenge, and that was in 1996, July 1996. Was a formation of about 150 circles, reminiscent actually of the Mill Hill formation this year.
All right, that's a good place to hang people on that. We'll find out. Tell me about something on the ground in is having a big discussion about this, and I believe we can't be done from the ground. So I'm just a lay person, and I look at this, and I say, this is this is a serious thing. This is the biggest conceptual this is crucial. I was message about this is a big story, friends, and big things. Microsoft's NSX was licensed and I was given some instructions and minutes. Several signs of the target. What they back in the target area, but all attacks sometimes was the target. The Microsoft tech looked at his rifle, then at the target again. Looked at the rifle again, then at the target again. Put his finger over the end of the rifle barrel and squeezed the trigger with his other hand. The end of his finger pulled off, whereupon he yelled toward the target area, "It's reading here just fine. The trouble must be at your end." And we can't take a 24-hour program for any resources and everything. Ability by energy to go out if necessary. And this by to look at whatever every corner. Of course, let's give us some dispatch and mentions 4%, but I do have that already and do in fact do it. And there isn't that a hotline number, and what is that choose code? It's area code 702-798-1700. And you can also log on to our website at www.nitsci.org, and you can fill out a form electronically if you don't want to talk on the telephone. But tonight, if you do call us tonight, we will take your number quickly because of the number of calls, and then we'll get back to you tomorrow. All right, so in other words, if you've got something you want to say, folks, that number is available right now. Normally not tonight it is. It is 702-798-1700. I'm going to send it. 702-798-1700. Okay, Colin. If you have any more comfortable, please immediately fine. If not, we'll move on to whatever else you want. Well, I was just going to mention that in 1986, in the December of 96, I was with a group of people who were one of the first into the so-called Julia flat, which was a formation that appeared very quickly across the road, across the highway from Stonehenge. And the interesting thing about entering this formation was, number one, we were completely befuddled as to what the whole formation looked like. As far as you could see, all you could see were different sized circles. We kept on walking, we just had no idea what it looked like. And then a day later, when somebody had taken an aerial shot of it, we realized what exactly it looked like. But to us on the ground, it was almost impossible to see what the overall shape was. The second thing that we noticed, I was with a group that was 4 of us total, and all 4 of us experienced dizziness and disorientation. And after going in there, this was very, very fresh information with them. We had just occurred less than 24 hours, and we were one of the first people in, but two of the people with us had to leave the formation because they felt so nauseous. Myself and the other guy were in there to collect samples, so we had a protocol that we were following that was essentially the 11-foot protocol, which is gathering 10 sets of samples from within the formation and then 10 sets of controls that varying distances from the formation, and then shipping the plants back to him. And we had an enormous amount of difficulty in actually focusing and concentrating and overcoming the dizziness and disorientation to accomplish collecting those samples. It took us hours. And then other formations that we went into maybe in the ensuing days, there was no hint of that whatsoever.
And it just seemed to be this particular formation. It was very disorienting, and all of the people that I was with felt the same.
So one might speculate a little bit of residual energy of some sort or another left because it was so fresh.
That was the speculation that was going around. And we didn't have any measuring equipment with us. We were simply there to gather the plants and to ship them back to Dr. Lavingis.
And what did Dr. Lavingis find?
From my memory, and I'm really going on my memory, he did find differences in what he calls the redox ratio, which is a measurement that he uses to estimate the anion-cation ratio in these plants compared with the controls that were found outside the formation. In other words, there was an effect. Now, I think he's interpreted that as being indicative of microwave radiation, but from my memory, he did find those effects in those plants.
Well, I don't know what to say about all this, except that obviously we've tried all this stuff. Up until now, they've been serious, they've been beautiful, they've been pleasant, everybody's, but all of a sudden you turn a corner and you've got a face, and then you've got this incredible answer to Sibo's message. Unambiguously, it's turning a corner.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a new level of sophistication. And beginning with that Mill Hill formation with the 409 circles, I think that's quickly followed by the faith, which in turn was quickly followed by these the Arecibo gift. I think, yes, we have turned the corner in terms of sophistication. Prior to that, I did not see anything this summer that really raised any interest. Certainly there's no discussion in our group on crop formations up to the appearance of the faith, actually. And then we backtracked to talk about the Mill Hill formation, too.
Our comments on face itself, all the technical aspects of that and how does the face strike you?
Well, I've got a printout on my wall, which I'm looking right at right now. I just printed it out from the Crop Circle Connector website, and to me, my interpretation is that it looks definitely human, and it looks like almost like a teenager looking out for a very, very small window. And I know there's been lots of interpretations about, Neanderthal type features and this kind of thing, but as I'm looking at right across the room, and it's a superficial look, that's what I see. It's such a young boy just looking out a small window with an expression that is not particularly happy.
What do you think the media ultimately is going? There is a growing Netflix on, and he's been on Fox, and he's been on CNN.
Yeah.
So it's beginning to move from the fringes to the mainstream. Do you think it'll keep going? Do you think the night will come that soon, Tom Brokaw or whoever is going to report on this?
I think there's a definite change in the tone of the media reporting in the last 12 months. It's pretty obvious to me, and yes, I think the trend is going to continue. I think the numbers of print articles on the number of TV coverages of the different issues that we went into maybe in the ensuing days, there was no hint of that whatsoever. And it just seemed to be this particular formation. It was very disorienting, and all of the people that I was with felt the same.
So one might speculate a little bit of residual energy of some sort or another left because it was so fresh.
That was the speculation that was going around, and we didn't have any measuring equipment with us. We were simply there to gather the plants and to ship them back to Dr. Lavingis.
And what did Dr. Lavingis find?
From my memory, and I'm really going on my memory, he did find differences in what he calls the redox ratio, which is a measurement that he uses to estimate the anion-cation ratio in these plants, compared with the controls that were found outside the formation. In other words, there was an effect. Now, I think he's interpreted that as being indicative of microwave radiation. But from my memory, he did find those effects in those plants.
Well, I don't know what to say about this, except that obviously we've turned the corner with this thing. Until now, they've been mysterious, they've been beautiful, they've been puzzling. Everybody's, but all of a sudden you turn the corner and then you've got a face, and then you've got this incredible answer to Arecibo's message. Unambiguously, it's turning the corner.
Well, I think it's definitely a new level of sophistication, and beginning with that Mill formation with the 409 circles, I think that quickly followed by the face, which in turn was quickly followed by the Arecibo split. I think, yes, we have turned the corner in terms of sophistication. Prior to that, I did not see anything this summer that really raised any interest. Certainly there's no discussion in our group on crop formations up to the appearance of the face, actually. And then we backtracked to talk about the Mill formation, too.
Can comments on the face itself, other than the technical aspects of how it went? How does the face strike you?
Well, I've got a printout on my wall, which I'm looking right at right now. I just printed it out from the Crop Circle Connector website, and to me, my interpretation is that it looks definitely human. It looks like almost like a teenager looking out through a very, very small window. And I know there's been lots of interpretations about, Neanderthal type features and this kind of thing, but other than looking at right across the room, and it's a superficial look, that's what I see. It's just a young boy just looking out a small window with an expression that is not particularly happy.
What do you think the media ultimately reflected? There is a warming up that's going on right now. It's been on Fox, it's been on CNN. Yeah. So it's beginning to move from the fringes to the mainstream. Do you think it'll keep going? Do you think the night will come that soon, Tom Brokaw or whoever is going to report on this?
I think there's a definite change in the tone of the media reporting in the last 12 months. It's pretty obvious to me, and yes, I think the trend is going to continue. I think the numbers of print articles and the number of TV coverages of the different UFO phenomena, as well as the crop formations.
There are many that believe that part of this could be a government program to condition people to the fact that there are possible alien presence, or that there are others. Now, earlier tonight I put it out on my website, I got a link. Somebody says, Disney asks, can aliens visit Earth? Now, this is for children. I think the only thing between Disney is for children. Yeah. The children in gray with almost a smile on its face, and it's for children. Now,
yeah, Disney, I saw that on MSNBC. Yeah. Whether it's a program, it certainly seems to be a very obvious change in tone in the media. Where that change in tone is coming from, it's definitely an interesting question. But we've noticed it dramatically. Even the coverage on the animal mutilation phenomenon is covered matter-of-factly with no jingle factor. The various UFO incidents that have happened in the last couple of months that have been high-profile, they've made NBC News, they've made CNN, and it's all been straight reporting. And to compare that to a few years ago, where there would always be a one-line one-liner inserted from the anchorman after talking about something that's not mainstream. I think it's a very good change.
One thing that I think shocked in this process was so many of these things for years, at least it seemed to me, always happened out west in Nevada, where we've got special test sites and all kinds of secret stuff out here, and so they can always put it off to that. Now, it suddenly happened in the skies over New Jersey. Different story, right?
Yeah, that's right. It was maybe it's just the East Coast media kind of thing that's cutting onto that, but that particular case got an enormous amount of media play. I mean, we were quite amazed at the amount of media play it got. ABC, CNN, and it was not just one night; it just continued for several nights as the true area was being updated.
And if that had happened over Las Vegas, Tucson, or Phoenix, would it have that kind of play?
Well, the Phoenix 1987 lights there was quite a few parallels with the New Jersey sighting. We've been investigating the New Jersey sighting that happened on July 15th, and we see quite a few parallels between the Phoenix lights and this particular stat.
Now, do you mean actual physical parallels or media coverage parallels?
Well, parallels in the fact that there were hundreds of people who saw the V-shaped formation of lights. There was a lot of media attention eventually to the Phoenix lights. USA Today did a fairly big spread, but several months after the event.
That's right. We reported on it here, and it seems to me about 3 or 4 months later, boom, it was like a happening night.
That's right. And I remember seeing the USA Today article. It was like months later, right? And but the multiple eyewitnesses, the fact that there were multiple lights in a V-shaped formation reported from a lot of witnesses in different locations around both the New Jersey Turnpike and on Staten Island. There were quite a few parallels.
Oh, by the way, just back for a second to the Wheatfield's opinion. Can you imagine in your wildest dreams that if the government itself, or a government, in conjunction with others, did not do this, that our government and the English government would be intensely interested, scientifically, militarily, however you want to look at it, at how this did happen? And if they don't know, then they'd be out there measuring themselves and wanting to know how such formations arrive there, wouldn't you think?
Absolutely. I know when I was over there in 1996, there was a lot of helicopter activity and aircraft activity over the areas that had these formations. And that was the year when the so-called DNA double helix was quickly followed by this Julius at Stonehenge, and then in August of 1996 there was this triple Julius site in Windmill Hill, which kind of was a preamble to the Mill formation this year with the 409 circles, and we had a lot of activity, probably helicopter activity photographing.
No, so I didn't know that. Nobody had ever said that to me. But you were into it and you saw it.
Yeah, there was a lot of aircraft activity, and everybody I talked to at that time had reported the same thing, and I believe even in the subsequent years there was aircraft activity.
Was it obviously military? But I suppose if military didn't want to be on this, it wouldn't be.
Well, there's a fairly big military facility in the Salisbury Plains, I think it's called, and that's not very far from the Avebury formation, which is kind of a central point where there's a lot of formations of periods in Wiltshire.
I mean, every time statements or denials about UFOs all the time. Yeah. Have you ever made a statement about crop circles?
Not that I'm aware of, with the exception of that paper written by Jean-Jacques Velasco, who was the head of JEPAN, which became SECRA, which is the official government French organization that was funded to look at UFOs. And this paper written by Velasco was looking at what it would take for a laser or some other type of beam to create these formations. That's the only time I've ever seen even tangential.
Otherwise, complete government science.
That's right. And one of the really interesting questions is why are all these formations being done in Europe in terms of complexity compared to the kinds of formations that have been seen over here? There's been a few in Montana in the last year or two that we looked at actually, but the complexity is orders of magnitude lower.
Well, I hope it's not some sort of comment on expectation of IQ.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting possibility. The kind of formations that have been seen in Utah and Montana in the last 3 or 4 years are very reminiscent of the sort of formations that were seen in the United Kingdom in 1992 and 1991. It's like there's a disconnect, a time disconnect between what's happening over here on this side of the pond as compared to Europe.
Well, the reason is really odd. It defies explanation right now, other than, I suppose, what's being discussed on the list as being workers already.
Yeah, and I mean, the discussion is definitely, that's all it is, discussion. It's definitely informed discussion, but certainly no conclusions. And really not,
how hard are the people engaged in this discussion? What have been attributed as a
well, we have, on our science advisory board, there's some very high-level physicists working in government labs, and one guy especially who's had a 30-year career in lasers. And then we have other consultants who chime in, who are very high level in material science and have worked in high levels in government. So, yeah, there is a good background there for discussion.
Well, I know that we should touch also on animal mutilations have almost been sort of side by side for some reason. I really don't know why crop circles, other than the fact that they are mainly unexplained. If anything, animal mutilations probably most of it because one person ever arrested for doing these precision animal mutilations. Is that right?
That's our information, and we have retired police officers on our staff, and that is one of the big enigmas with animal mutilations, that not a single person has been caught or charged in 30 years. And we know that from the hotspot areas that we've looked at, in Montana and northern New Mexico and in Utah, the numbers of mutilations, and in Colorado actually, a lot of cult activity was investigated. So from all of the investigations by police, not a single person has been charged. And that remains the single biggest question of why not.
We're going to go through the and then we will talk more about animal mutilations. In all these years, in all of these mutilations, by the way, most of it occurred here. There seem to be the data for that in North America. Not one person has ever been caught or charged. As the fields of following these crop circles, not one person, not one footprint, not one sign of criminal activity on the ground. Substantially, burden change, very obviously not done that well. So we need to say that this is Christians. One organization of its kind, NDIS, National Institute for Discovery of Science, is the deputy administrator And we're talking about the things that are happening right now. We have many, including the technical formations right now. The animal relations right now. All of that's a discussion. Right where you are. What's our regulation? Right now, the question is something you put on your fridge. But I don't know what happens to you. I am strange as a man, inexplicable. I literally am. You can correlate the government side as well, but I'm going to give you the front line number. It's known right now, right this minute, if you have something you've been wanting to access, and perhaps you've been sort of hesitating. I know that feeling. I got very far before I reported my UFO sighting with my wife on the air. I got really worried about that lately, so I understand. But the only way we're ever going to get to the bottom of all of this is with your help. NDIS is the national organization that has the manpower, the financial ability, and the expertise, top-of-the-line expertise to investigate these things. Our hotline number is area code 702-798-1700. That's 702-798-1700, and they will treat your inquiry with a great deal. They will respect your privacy, let me put it that way. Once they contact you, thank you. Okay, let's talk a little bit about what's been going on here in North America to these animal mutilations out west, Montana, that sort of area. What's the latest? Well, it's one of the unexplained features of these mutilations is that they seem to come in waves and then they decrease and they come in waves again. And right now, in the last 5 or 6 weeks, we know about 6 animals that have gone down in different parts of Montana. That's 2 in the Superior area, which is in the northwest. There was 1 or 2, and we're talking about in the last couple of months, 2 near Great Falls, and then we got a report. 2 near Great Falls, and then we got a report actually today of a case that was near Whitefish, Montana, which is famous for its crop formations of all kinds. But there was a mutilation in just east of Whitefish about 7 days ago. Now, we were very lucky because normally in mutilations, the ranchers do not call immediately, and law enforcement sometimes are slow too, but we were lucky. We got a call within 2 days of a mutilation in Dupree, just outside Dupree, Montana. And that was a 6-year-old red Angus cow found dead, and it had been seen alive the night before. Its left eye and its left eyelid were gone. Its tail had been removed, and it's the left jaw tissue of the hide. In other words, the entire jaw was stripped. And then underneath the jawbone was a green substance embedded in the flesh, and then there was the usual reproductive organs were removed. But we got a call from the deputy sheriff a few days, well, probably a couple of days after the mutilation, but it was still in that time period where we could still manage to get something. Veterinary was not available, so we decided to go the unorthodox route, which is we asked the deputy to cut the head off the animals, which is like a reminiscent of the Godfather movie here. But and so yeah, the one was put in the mail and came to it. Because that was the only way we could actually examine the head, because we had the tongue removed, we had the left eye gone, and then we had the greenish substance underneath the jaw. Actually, did the UPS in the wrong? Did they run? Did the UPS in the wrong? He actually FedExed it. And this was a 6-year-old red Angus, so it was a
pretty heavy FedEx parcel. Actually, the deputy sheriff had the presence of mind to put it on dry ice for actually it was over the holiday weekend, so
for everybody, so good.
yeah, exactly. So he put it on dry ice and kept it in his freezer for a few days, and then sent it to us. And we immediately, on receipt, we put it into a minus 85-degree freezer, which really flash froze it and stopped the decomposition, because the whole deal is to try to get biologically viable samples, and decomposition reverses that whole thing. So we flash froze it, and then we got samples of the greenish tissue under the jaw. We sent them out to a lab to be looked at, and so far the feedback has been very, very preliminary, that there does seem to be some difference with the green substance, but we haven't nailed down anything in terms of actual molecules that are in there. That's what we're hoping to do.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, it is biological, the green substance, is it biological?
The viable samples, and decomposition reverses that whole thing. So we flash froze it, and then we got samples of the greenish tissue under the jaw. We sent them out to a lab to be looked at, and so far the feedback from the lab has been very, very preliminary, that there does seem to be some difference with the green substance, but we haven't nailed down anything in terms of actual molecules that are in there. That's what we're hoping to do.
Yeah, but I'm saying it is biological, the green substance is biological, part of that animal in some way, or external?
They haven't got that far. They just said that there are differences in extraction. They use a preliminary method for extracting the relevant molecules from the tissue, and the greenish area behaves differently from the non-greenish area. That's the only information we have. So in the second level of analysis, gas chromatography, mass spectrometry, which hopefully will yield some of the actual molecular constituents.
So since we're going to get to the bottom of this kind of thing, is with this kind of work, and that takes money. Takes money. I mean, labs don't do a lot of pro bono work in this area.
That's absolutely correct, John. There's no free lunches.
Yeah.
And we did a very extensive analysis on an animal from Utah there last couple of years ago. It was in the thousands of dollar range, because we actually ended up using 9 separate laboratories around the country for different sets of tests, everything from veterinary pathology analysis to chemical analysis, biological analysis, the kind of gas chromatography that I just described. So, as well as pregnancy tests and blood tests, elemental analysis of the blood. So we really did all the stuff.
What were the animals? I mean, what did you find, if anything?
In that Utah animal?
Yeah.
Well, the first thing we found was that there was a bluish gel on the eye of the animal, which we analyzed. We found 2 separate compounds in there, which were indicative that the substance had been added to the animal. In other words, did not confirm the animal. We also showed that the animal was pregnant at or close to the time of death. We showed that the heart had been shredded in the animal, but the pericardium, which is the membrane surrounding the heart, was left intact. That's very interesting, because the investigator would actually be present at the necropsy of the animal, said that the heart looked like it had been shot right in the heart with a bullet, but there was no entry wound, there was no exit wound, and the actual pericardium was completely intact.
What to do there?
Well, that was a question that we never answered, because it had all the hallmarks of a projectile without the entry and exit wound, and we could not we could speculate about various shock waves and that kind of thing, but we never nailed it down. And then we found different levels of potassium. Now, potassium is notoriously difficult to analyze in post-mortem samples, but we did find different levels of potassium in different blood samples that we had taken from the animal. But so the bottom line with this animal that we had done the extensive analysis with, it did not die a normal death. And it was sharp instruments were used on the animal. We verified that using microscopy and pathology, histopathology. And we never got a handle on the perpetrators, but we were pretty sure that the animal did not die a normal death. Now, this latest animal in Montana, we were fortunate when the head arrived. One of the first things that we did was to examine the right eye, which was underneath the animal, and we found that the right eye was totally intact. So what we did was we stuck it in the freezer -85, and then when we thawed it out, the first thing we did was we got a needle inserted right into the eye, and we took the vitreous fluid from the eye, because that is a very, very good snapshot of the different types of compounds in the animal and the status of the animal at death. In other words, it's a very accurate way of measuring the different features, different chemicals and biological substances in the animal, as opposed to the blood, for example, which runs through the liver, and if there's toxic substances in there, they get degraded very quickly. So we were very lucky to get the vitreous fluid, and that has been currently analyzed. The next thing we did with this animal in Montana was that we flew one of the top forensic anthropologists, pathologists in the country out to Las Vegas to spend a day going through the head inch by inch, and we learned a lot from this examination, because it turned out that you can actually use the maggots on the animal. Believe it or not, it's not a very savory topic, but we can use the maggots to get a lot of information on time of death, depending on the developmental stage of maggots.
I mean, the rate at which maggots mush or what?
That's right. There are 4 separate stages that human pathologists use these kind of techniques all the time in establishing time of death, because it's a definite point of interest in court cases. These techniques can be applied to the animal mutilation scenario, because usually the only information we have is from the rancher who last saw the animal alive. It's plus or minus 12 hours, plus or minus 24 hours. The forensic anthropologists and forensic entomology people that we're talking to right now are saying that we can establish time of death plus or minus 2 to 3 hours over a period of 7 days after death. So that is a very accurate time of death, and it's very useful then for pinpointing the kinds of tests that are possible. So what about animal death out of curiosity? Well, the animal died on June 27th.
Were they able to nail it down as they can in homicide cases, should we say, between 2 and 4 o'clock in the morning?
That actually is still being done. And the second really interesting thing about the maggots issue is that maggots have this tendency to actually concentrate drugs or toxic substances. So if we wanted to find out what was actually killing the animal, if the animal was sedated or if the animal was immobilized in some way, the maggots are the perfect thing to analyze. And we don't know of any other cases in the animal mutilation area where maggots are actually analyzed for the presence of toxic substances. So we think that might be a useful way to go, and that actually is being done too.
Well, with all of the years of research, and I know that we're all on animal mutilations, do you have the slightest idea what is going on?
Well, that's a pretty pointed question, I want to say.
What
what we've found out so far is number one, we are absolutely certain that sharp instruments are used in some cases. Why those sharp instruments are used, we don't. We have had the minority of the cases that we've looked at, we have been able to get to the animal within hours or just between a day and 2 days after death, and they're the ones that are most biologically relevant. Right. The second piece of information is in a small minority of cases, there is a substance or substances added to the animal which did not come from the animal. Thirdly, in close to all of the cases that we've looked at, there's been substantial hemorrhaging underneath the hide along the back area of the animal. And the fourth piece of information that we've had that is reproducible is that there's very, very low levels of copper in the liver of these animals that is independent in at least a couple of cases of the nutritional status of the animal. Any idea what the cause is? That's one of the real burners because we've had cases where we've had vanishingly low levels of copper in the animal but normal levels of zinc. Now, anything that removes copper should be able to remove zinc because I've done that kind of work in my previous lab work. And it's very, very difficult to specifically remove copper without removing zinc. So that's a major question. But there are the four bits of information that we've managed to glean from the animal mutilation cases that we've done so far. That does not address the perpetrators. It doesn't address actually the cause of death. And so what we found out, we found those four elements out, but we have no idea if we're doing this. Not enough information to even make a guess. Right now, I can say that we do not have enough information to make a guess. But in the discussion groups, the same ones that we're talking about, the project groups. Yeah. When discussion groups take up one subject, what's the speculation? Well, in the animal mutilation arena, the discussion groups get brutally direct, and essentially what needs to happen is a vastly expanded series of forensic focuses. In other words, a lot more attention needs to be paid to the forensics rather than checking the animal for bacteriology, virology, that kind of thing. Toxicology needs to be really finely focused into chemical analysis. So the discussions that happen within our organization are mostly very, very strong advice to focus on the forensics rather than doing the kind of veterinary pathology work that's been traditional. Well, everybody venture out on a limb and guess what might be doing this. There's been a lot of discussion back and forth about possibilities of the close groups, possible government testing of those were brought up, but it's usually quickly shot down. The idea that UFO activity has been traditionally associated with animal mutilations is brought up again and again. And actually, one of the high points of the Montana set of mutilations that happened in the 1970s was we were very fortunate to get the cooperation of one of the deputy sheriffs up there in around Great Falls, Montana, who had done an extensive series of investigations. And he found, using his police blotters, he had investigated between 60 and 70 mutilations in the mid-70s during the major mutilation wave in the west part of the United States. And at the same time, the locals were reporting a very intense wave of UFO activity. So there was 150, 160 cases of UFO activity that were superimposed right on top of the mutilation. phenomenon.
So it's almost impossible to ignore the connection.
Exactly. We were able to do a good statistical analysis, which was backed up by our science advisory board, and that's the kind of thing that they're interested in doing, nailing down the kind of statistics that they can stand up in court.
I call them hold it right there. We'll be right back from the high desert, Conway Bell, and this is Coast to Coast.